Welcome back to On the Clock on the Rocket Productions Network. I'm your host, Dawson McNall. My good friends Jace and Scotty will join me shortly. If you have missed any episodes on the clock, go find the Rocket Productions Network on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, or any place you listen to your podcast. All of our episodes are also on the Rocket Productions YouTube channel. If you are not a subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. Be sure to check out Rocket Productions on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We hope you enjoyed that little preview there of Gage and Cooper's interview. But this is a new segment called This or That we're going to try out this week. But without further ado, we're going to get into our game of the week. So yesterday was Thursday, also known as National Thursday. The Eagles hosted the Vikings and won 34-28, a bounce-back win after their struggles in Week 1. Scotty and Jace, did you happen to catch any of that?
Yeah, we got home a little earlier last night and were able to watch it. The Vikings falling to 0-2 now after last year starting off really hot. Technically, now they're 0-2 in one-possession games, which last year I think they were 11-0 in one-possession games.
Something like that.
So it's completely flipped there. But one player I noticed was Swift, really bouncing back after last week with Gainwell out this game. Got all of his carries that he was hoping to get. Got 28 for 175 and a touchdown right at the end. Big bounce-back game for him for fantasy people as well.
Do you think that makes him a consistent flex/running back 2 starter as we go forward here, or are you still hesitant?
Depends. I would like to wait to see what Gainwell does when he comes back, because he's fine, right?
Uh-huh.
It's just that's what I thought. And then Penny was active last night too.
I think Penny was active. I think he had 1 or 2 carries. I can double check that real quick.
I think that was one of the reasons people were still a little hesitant about him, was because they thought Penny might get more carries than he actually did, but Swift got the whole workload and really showed what he could do.
Yeah, so Swift had 28 carries for 175 yards. Boston Scott ran the ball 5 times for 40 yards. Jalen Hurts had 12 carries for 35 and 2 touchdowns, and then Rashad Penny had 3 carries for 9 yards. So really not a lot of competition. 28 carries, that's a lot. You're not going to see that consistent volume, but good thing points are based off carries. It's off yardage. So he had probably 14 plus 6, so 20, at least 20 last night. That's if he didn't have any catches. So
yeah, like he had 3 catches for a few yards, not too much.
And then is the curse of primetime Kirk gone? He played very well last night in their loss, 31-44, 364 yards and 4 touchdowns. I don't think you can really pin that loss on him. He did have a fumble in the second half, but he played well, from what I understood.
And also Jefferson, I was looking at that. He's already at maybe 325 yards total,
on the
I
season.
think already. So he's going to break that 1,000 mark pretty quick if he keeps this up. He's right now at about 150 a game. But he is the number 1 target in that offense, and it's not even close. You would expect maybe Addison or Osborne to get a few more than they actually did. But it's been pretty empty for both of them.
And then, Jace, you want to talk about the turnover troubles for the Vikings?
Yeah, Vikings not the best at keeping the ball with them. I think Kirk had 1 in the second half. Is that right?
Yeah, Kirk had 1 in the second.
Yeah, and then just kind of 4 fumbles, 3 in the first half. So first half was a little rough for them. I think end of the first quarter they were only, I think it was 3-0.
I think it was 3-7 or 3-0.
Yeah,
nothing right around that mark.
So a little slow for both the teams, but yeah, Vikings didn't really start strong like how Sky was saying they did the first 2 weeks, but I have a feeling these next couple of weeks they'll work on it, get better, and I bet they come out a little bit stronger in the 3rd week.
Yeah, Madison and Jefferson had fumbles, and there was a punt return fumble. So those 3 really killed them in the first half. But that's really, I think, all we got to say on the Thursday night game. So we'll get right into our weekend preview here. The Chiefs are traveling to Florida to play the Jacksonville Jaguars. Playoff rematch. Jace, do you have any predictions on that? Chiefs are 0-1, Jags are 1-0. So this you may consider a must-win game for the Chiefs to be in contention for that first-round bye here in 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, Chiefs traveling out to Florida, so going to be a plane ride, pretty far ride for them. But, it's a must-win game. Jags are a pretty good team. Trevor Lawrence and his number 1 receiver, I'd say, is Ridley. So, if they keep connecting, it'll be a good game. But yeah, Chiefs, hopefully. I think they say Travis Kelce will be back. But
that I hadn't seen that, but hopefully we need him
Yeah.
bad.
people are saying on Twitter that he's going to be back, but I'm not sure yet. So him back could open up the offense and hopefully pull out a win.
Yeah, the Jags have a pretty good wide receiver tandem over there of Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk, and Zay Jones. Two of those three every week seem to hit for fantasy purposes. But Scotty, you got any? Chris Jones signed his extension, so he will be back. That's going to be huge. But other than that, you got any input on the game?
Yeah, I was going to talk about Chris Jones. We're not sure how much he'll play, how well of conditioning he's had while not participating in training camp much, if at all. But I hope Kelsey's back. That just adds another dynamic to the offense and someone who can catch the ball, like actually catch it. But receivers last week struggled a lot, but so did the Jaguars a little bit with Colts last week. It was a close game. It was the Colts, right? They had it it was that back and forth game.
And the Colts aren't
I think they were up
insanely good.
No, and I think the Colts were up 10 at the beginning of the fourth, and Jacksonville scored and then got a turnover towards the end of the game and kind of shut it out, and they got up by 10 later in the game. But they kind of struggled to move the ball in that first half, and I think if the Chiefs can last the whole game, it's hard to battle with Mahomes in a low-scoring game because that doesn't happen too often.
Yep. Okay. And then moving into our next game here, I think this probably has the most news surrounding it. The Jets in Dallas. Rodgers obviously tore his Achilles, which is tragic. Some people think he might not ever play football again. Some people might say he's got one more year left in him. But that sucks nonetheless. So Zach Wilson is the guy that had to step up, won them the game against Buffalo primetime. But is Zach the guy going forward, or are they going to explore options such as Cam Newton, or maybe find somebody that they can trade for, almost like a Trey Lance type situation?
I feel like kind of wait a couple weeks. He has been doing. I mean, it's kind of like Brock Purdy. I mean, he came in and he was a rookie, and he wasn't really. No one really knew anything about him, and so coming in, he proved himself, and I think he got the spot. I feel like that's how Zach's gonna have to do: prove that he's the guy, and then he'll probably get a spot. And if not, then yeah, they're gonna have to do some digging.
Yeah, no, I think this is truly because Zach was a high draft pick, Purdy wasn't. But I get what he's saying, where this is his chance to really come in and step in when he's behind the gun. And this really, I do believe, is Zach Wilson's last chance to be a starter in the NFL.
Yeah, and someone in that quarterback room is gonna, I think, have success just because you're gonna have Aaron Rodgers on the sideline. You're gonna have him in your ear talking to you.
You have a good receiving core. You have a solid offensive line, good tight ends.
And this week, I think the game plan, it will be centered around Zach as the quarterback now. Last week, it was just kind of him thrown in there. Wasn't ready for anything. Nathaniel Hackett, coming from Green Bay, everything was around Aaron Rodgers, what he liked, what he wanted. And Zach was just kind of thrown in there, second drive of the game, not knowing much of what the game plan was. So I think this game could either go a shootout or you could see another Dallas big win.
Yeah, another Dallas shutout. New York Giants 40-0. But on that note, we are going to go to a quick word from our sponsor, and then we will be back with more weekend preview.
If you are interested in going into a community church, then go to Victory Fellowship on South Rose Hill Road. Pastor Joe Cowell is the senior pastor, so contact him for more information at 316-776-2212.
At Happy House, you can experience the rich Chinese flavors right here in Kansas, all prepared with love and care. From dumplings to Chinese donuts, Happy House got something to satisfy every craving. Head down to Happy House where happiness and deliciousness collide. To contact Happy House, call 316-776-7888.
Welcome back, everybody. The Seahawks will travel to Detroit to face the Lions, two solid and very interesting teams. Do either of you have anything you would like to talk about with that game?
Just the Lions, coming off that big win week one. People could see it happening after the Kelsey news, no Chris Jones. But I think before the season started, when everyone sees this, the schedules come out, it's like Chiefs should win that game. And it didn't happen. And so the Lions got a lot of confidence,
A lot of momentum.
Yeah, with their coaching staff being a very hype group of guys and really getting these guys rolling. And then you had, was it C.J. Gardner-Johnson, I think, is having everyone wear blue ski masks, and they all sold out on Amazon within, like, hours over in Detroit. So I think this game should be a pretty good one and a very hype game in Detroit.
Okay, yeah, and then moving on to our last NFL game of the week. Jace, what do you have on the Ravens and Bengals?
I mean, both teams, rough week. Baltimore, they got the win over Texans, I think. And so, I mean, it was a win, but I wouldn't say it was the best win.
It wasn't a pretty win.
Yeah, it was. They got it, and so I'd say they just need to move on. Bengal, on the other hand, was not pretty for them. I mean, fantasy-wise, none of them really performed well. I think.
Offensively, it was horrible.
Offensively, they might have scored 20 points total. So, I mean, not Trevor Lawrence. What's his name?
Joe Burrow.
Burrow.
Joe Burrow needs to step up. Jamar Chase needs to step up. So, I mean, I don't know. This could be either a good game or kind of just an end game.
Yeah. Okay, and then moving over to college here, we got K-State traveling to Mizzou. Big game there. Last year, K-State blew them out in the rain. It was a very fun game to be at and watch. And then KU is going to travel out to the West Coast to face Nevada, where they are heavy favorites. So we are going to head into another commercial break, and then we will be back with the weekly recap.
If you are wanting to stay updated on school-wide events, new faces in our community, and more, then you should tune in to the Rocket Productions podcast. The podcast discusses things such as big upcoming sports games, club information, and even hosts different teachers and students for episodes. Check it out on the Rocket Productions YouTube channel every Monday.
Are you a high school football fan and wanting to support your local football team? The Rose Hill High School Gridiron gives endless opportunities to help out the football team. If you're interested in signing up, contact Heath Wallace and make a difference. Go Rockets!
All right, welcome to the weekly recap. K-State glided past Troy. They looked close there for a little bit in the second quarter right before halftime. K-State was up by a touchdown. Troy had the ball. They were driving. I was getting a little bit worried, but eventually K-State was able to turn on the boosters and never looked back. So KU, statement win over Illinois. Jace, you want to break that down a little bit for us?
Yeah, KU started off strong, kind of getting up a couple touchdowns, 14-0 around the end of the first quarter. I mean, they kept it through the second quarter. Second quarter happens, and I mean, I think there was like a couple minutes left, and there was like 2 touchdowns back to back. So I think their quarterback had a pretty big run, but then we were kind of up during the second half. So I mean, we kind of run the ball, wasting some time. They kind of came back, but I think we won around 11, 13 points, won by.
Nice. Okay, and then if anybody can remember this, Appalachian State lost in double overtime to number 17 North Carolina. That team, it's just there's something about them.
They're always fighting against these really good teams because they get these high-ranked teams at the beginning of the year, and they always fight, and it's just weird. It's like they're
it's not even weird. It's just exciting.
Yeah,
like, you want to tune into their game.
It's an exciting program. That like last year, I think they had one game where they pulled out and won. And then in the next, like the following week,
they did it again.
They played another ranked team, and it was a fun team to watch, and we kind of claimed them as my Wichita State, because
I mean they're the same color. Let me pull it up here. So they're at East Carolina this week. UNC's now 20 after that win. But if we go back to last year, they beat.
Was it A&M?
I'm trying to look here. Louisiana. Oh, I went too far.
It was
back.
like a top 10 ranked team too. I'm pretty sure.
Number 19 Troy.
Was it last year?
They beat A&M.
Yeah, it was A&M. I think.
And
A&M
then
was
Troy.
ranked.
And then they lost to James Madison by 4.
Yeah, it was.
And then they got into kind of their regular season schedule. But
so they're beating all of these really good teams, or taking them far, and then losing to
yeah,
their conference teams.
Yeah, it's crazy. They lost to Coastal Carolina by 7, and then I think this is their bowl game. Yeah,
Beat
Old Dominion 27-14. So kind of cool to check back in on them. We're going to try to keep you guys updated with how their season's going. And then probably the biggest game of the season so far, maybe, until the college football starts even, Texas over Bama. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Quinn Ewers might be up there for Heisman.
I think he's, what is he, third right now? Or, like, there's a poll I saw come out.
I bet he's probably third or fourth.
Like-
It'd be probably Caleb Williams, Drake May, and then Sanders or him.
They had a couple Colorado guys. Sanders was a little higher, but then they had Travis Hunter in there too.
Yeah, when you needed a guy to step up, he was the guy that stepped up for Texas, and it was an amazing win over Bama, at Bama too.
Yeah, it was great to watch.
I feel like Bama this year just doesn't have that star
Dude.
quarterback that they normally do.
Last year it was Bryce. You might be right with that, but their quarterback they still has time to prove himself.
Yeah.
And then Colorado. Are they America's team? I'm starting to fall in love a little bit with
Everyone
Colorado.
loves them.
They got Dylan Edwards, Shador Sanders, Travis Hunter. Just a lot of fun to watch, and very I don't know. They just got a little swag to them, which makes them
Because they're all playing under Sanders, and he lets them have fun.
puts their Instagram handles on the back of their practice jerseys, just the little things that our generation appreciates. It just really seems to propel them. They're up to 18. They weren't ranked coming into the season. Win over Nebraska. They play Colorado State this week. Jace, anything else on them?
No, good win for them. I mean, Nebraska, they were good in the early 2000s, but I mean,
Not much sense.
there's not much sense. I mean, it was a win, so yep.
Okay, we are going to send it to commercial, and then our new segment is going to make its debut, This or That, hosted by Gage and KJ.
All right, who am I here with? C Dizzle. All right, Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady?
Patrick Mahomes.
Who am I here with?
Jared Jones.
All right, would you rather have Deion Sanders or Bo Jackson on your team?
Deion Sanders.
All right, who am I here with? Am I gonna get dunked on? No. Like last year. Okay. Mason. All right. Would you rather basketball or football national championship for Texas? Basketball. All right, thank you.
Who am I here with?
James Bilby.
All right, who would rather win in a wrestling match? Johnny Leck or Damon?
I'm going to have to go Damon here because he has a little bit of weight on him against Johnny. And I saw them scrapping a little bit last night, but I got to go Damon on this one.
All right, who am I here with?
Coach Barger.
Would you rather have a Broncos Super Bowl win or a track state championship?
Well, since the Broncos have already won 3 championships, I'm going to go for a track state championship.
All right, who am I with?
Cameron Mock.
Braves World Series win or your girlfriend?
Oh. Well, the Braves just recently won, so I got to go with my girlfriend. But the Braves are going to win anyway, so we're good.
All right, who am I here with?
Logan Parker.
Messi or Ronaldo?
Messi, all day.
Who am I here with?
Cooper Nace.
All right. Would you rather never play baseball again or get back with your ex?
Thank you for watching and listening to On the Clock on the Rocket Productions Network. Remember to subscribe to Rocket Productions Network on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. If you're not already a subscriber to the Rocket Productions on YouTube, please subscribe. Until next time, for Jace and Scotty Carr, I'm Dawson McNall.